Hello and welcome to a mini episode of GameSack. 8 weeks ago I reviewed the Hyperkin Retron GX, which plays TurboGrafx-16 and PC Engine Hue cards. I found a lot of issues and I've been talking with Hyperkin about it all, and they've since released a firmware update. Now, as the product as of the release of this video hasn't quite launched yet, I figured I'd make a quick update, this tiny little video here, to talk about what the firmware has changed. So let's get into it. First of all, updating the firmware is a bit strange compared to other products. You'd think that you might be able to put the bin file on the SD card, insert it into the Retron, power it up, and it updates. In fact, you can do that and you'll even get the update screen, but for whatever reason, it won't actually update doing it that way. So here's what you need to do if it's not already done for you when you get your unit. You download an IMG file from Hyperkin. You'll need to use an app like USB Image Tool on Windows or Etcher on Mac. This will flash your SD card with the new image, erasing everything that was on the card. So be sure to make a backup copy of the data folder first if you want to keep any quick saves or stuff like that. Insert that SD card into the Retron, power it up, and you'll get the update screen. Only this time, it actually does it. You'll know that it was successful if you check the date in the About section. For example, here it shows April 22nd of 2025. That's the newest firmware at the time I'm making this video. One important thing to note is that after the SD card has been inserted into your Retron GX and has been powered up, it will no longer be readable by your computer. I'm not sure what's being done to this card to make it happen. It didn't have this issue before the firmware update. And no, it's not recognized in Windows either. They sure do some unconventional and weird stuff at Hyperkin. So, back to the issues that the unit had. First and foremost, the frame rate was quite awful with all of its stuttering. I mean, just look at New Adventure Island trying to scroll here. But with the new firmware, it's much smoother. Look at that. It's still not quite perfect though, as it can occasionally get some stutters in it from time to time for whatever reason. As you can see here with the water flickering in Legendary Axe 2, it's much more stable now, though it can still go astray from time to time. Hyperkin says that weird dithering pattern that was applied was causing a lot of the stuttering issues. They got rid of the dithering and now it not only looks much cleaner, but runs better as well. I hope they're able to refine the firmware even more to get it to 60 frames per second 100% of the time. So it's much better, but there's still a ways to go. Next was the audio delay. It was extremely noticeable. I'm pleased to say that the delay has been greatly reduced. In fact, it's been minimized to the point where I think that most people won't even notice. We're talking maybe 2 frames here. Hell, that's better than the TurboGrafx mini console, which was around 8 frames. Same goes with the Genesis mini consoles. So if those mini consoles didn't bother you, this certainly won't. So I'm appearing on screen right now in an extremely vain attempt to push this video over 8 minutes long. That way I can have a mid-roll and make at least a little bit of money. Probably not going to happen, especially since I'm not going to have an end sketch. Oh well. Let's get back to the Retron GX. Unfortunately, one thing that hasn't changed is game compatibility. Only 18 of the 65 Hue card games that I have work on my Retron GX. Here's the list. Hyperkin said this may be because the unit was not a production model, so they sent me another one. I got the new unit and it has a similar but different compatibility rate. 19 games now work, that's one more. Some games that worked on the old one don't work here, and others that didn't work will run on the new one. Now, I can't quite see how well the Hue card device makes contact with the Hue cards, but I'm guessing that if the pins made more surface area contact with the cards themselves, they'd probably work a lot better. These games all work fine on my real consoles and also the Analog Duo. I've been talking with Hyperkin a lot, and they did posit that maybe after a bad read, it writes a corrupted file to the SD card, and therefore it prevents the Retron GX from a second attempt. If that's the case, I hope this can be fixed in the software. But at this point, I gotta tell you, I'm not so sure. And there you go. It's definitely better now than it was originally. I just hope they can find a way to improve the compatibility and nail that performance. So what do you think of the firmware update? Let me know. In the meantime, thank you for watching this itty bitty teeny weeny episode of GameSack. Kill it.